Welcome to Sound Bites, Wellness, one bite at a time. I'm pleased to introduce these short interviews with you of local folks whose work in the fields of wellness, sustainability, and community intersect at creativity. But first, I would like to acknowledge and honor the tradition and spirit of the Wabanaki, who have stewarded the land, waters, and wildlife that we stand upon today. My work as a community herbalist in training and functional medicine health coach candidate is a small gesture toward bringing the Wabanaki legacy of right relationship back to the citizens of the planet so that we may all heal and thrive. So today I'm joined by Opal Robinson here in the Wild Cheese Studio Gardens. So I do apologize for any background vehicle noise or otherwise. We are enjoying the birds singing right now. So I'm really excited to be here with Opal. She's a recent graduate of Maine College of Art and Design, a local forager, and botanical illustrator. She also happens to be my daughter. I have invited her here today because she is the creator behind our signature stationery line that features flowers, herbs, and fungi found here in Maine. With her authentic voice and distinctive perspective, I thought she would be a great person to kick off our Sound Bite sessions. Please pull up a seat, and I hope you enjoy listening. Good morning, Opal. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Mom.
So let's start off. How did you know that you were an artist?
I have been drawing since I was little, but I think that I knew I was going to be an artist, and I knew I was going to art school when I was like 13 or 14.
That is so cool to have that self-awareness so early in life. So what I love about your work is that it makes the natural world accessible to people in a visually beautiful way. How would you describe the work that you do?
I would describe my work as pretty objective. It's translating real life plants into something that's representational and informative for other people, and makes it accessible for people to enjoy nature without necessarily being in nature.
So is that to say that the work you do is for an audience?
No, it's for me, but I'm not the only person that enjoys those subjects.
Indeed. Indeed. So Opal, could you please walk us through your process from concept to finished piece?
So usually I do a day or so of collecting images as part of my research. That includes close-ups, far away, which includes collecting images, learning where the subject, usually plants, live, the climate, photos of up close, macro photos, and far away. And then I take all of those photos and information and start to sketch the composition, which doesn't take very long, maybe like 20 minutes. And then I do the painting process with watercolor and gouache, which can be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours in one sitting.
Wow, I had no idea that there was so much prep work ahead of time. You wouldn't know it by looking at the work that you produce. From where do you draw all that inspiration?
Well, from nature. I also enjoy and follow the work of Florida artist Veronica Steiner and Portland, Maine artist Zoe Keller, both of whom I referenced in my senior thesis paper. Both of these women focus on endangered species and animals rather than plants. Veronica is much more illustrative in her composition, whereas Zoe Keller is a much more traditional identification chart artist. Veronica uses watercolors and gouache, to my knowledge, and Zoe uses mainly graphite and then digital art.
I love that you cited female artists, and it sounds like there is a scientific approach, and even something you alluded to earlier when we were offline about advocacy. Can you just say a little bit more about how art, the type of art that you do, is environmental advocacy?
I'm going to read from my senior thesis exhibition artist statement, where I talk about this exact thing. Senior thesis project was a wild food foraging guide based in Westbrook, Maine, called Wild Food Foraging in Your Backyard. And for me, it serves as both an enriching educational tool for my community, as well as an encouragement towards ecological sustainability. The hope is that my wild food guide will act as a friendly gateway into exploring nature and all the benefits it has to offer for people of all ages.
Wow, thank you, Opal, for sharing that, and for the greater effort that this represents. This is a true gift to your community. When we get to the end, you can tell folks how they can access this free resource. So, what do you find the most challenging about the work that you do?
Personally, I feel like it's sometimes hard to translate a real plant into something that can be condensed into only a few different representations. A lot of single plants can look like a lot of different things. I find it difficult to sometimes create like a single image of a plant that can look so different, but make it easy for people to be able to identify it for themselves.
That takes a lot of observation and skillful rendering on your part. I really appreciate the effort that goes into that. Now that you've finished undergrad training at Mecca, what's next for you?
Now I'm focusing on kind of decompressing from the school year, but later I hope to be doing freelance work in this field of naturalist and botanical illustration, and I will be working on getting my field guide off the ground. Before the senior thesis show, I was unable to make my PDF universally accessible for printing. And throughout the year, I will also be adding more pages, which will be a continual project. What I have now is not the end of this project.
Great. Thanks for letting us know that this is an evolving project and something that we can look forward to in the future, growing as you progress. So I'd like to just switch gears here. Because these sessions are called sound bites, I like to ask all my guests, what is your sound bite? In just a few words, what does wellness mean to you, Opal?
Me, wellness means taking care of yourself and others, listening to what your body is telling you and giving it the nourishment that it needs, as well as your community.
So how does your creative process support that wellness?
I think my creative process helps to give me something to look forward to and something to ground consistency in my life.
Oh, that's wonderful, Opal. It's so important to have hope and to have that source of grounding in your life. I really appreciate your answer, and I hope that for all of our guests as well. In closing, I like to ask people, if you could be a plant, what would it be?
So I've thought a lot about this question, and at first I didn't really know because there's literally thousands of plants to choose from. But a plant that I used to have a lot growing up was a Venus flytrap, and I'm not sure that I would be that plant because I don't eat bugs, but I think they're really cool. So that's what I would choose.
I love that. That cracks me up. Well, on that note, let's just wrap up and let people know where they can see your work in the future, learn about your process, and where you're headed.
So, like I said, my field guide is not available to the public yet, but once it is, it will be available through a free PDF link on my website. But for now, you can see process videos of the spreads in my guide on my Instagram at Opals Art Maine. They're all reels. They're all right on my feed, where I do process painting videos as I talk about the plant that I'm painting, which was another aspect of accessibility in my project, and accessibility to information, which is another reason why the guide will be free. So the format for the guide is a free PDF link. So you either print from home, your local library, or a neighborhood print shop, so that the money that you would spend on the guide goes back into your economy. And it's meant to be laminated as well so that you can take it into the field with you. It's not meant to stay at home. I do have an email list, mainly on my Instagram. People can DM me with their emails because I don't have that set up on my website yet. You can find my work at Opals Art Maine on Instagram, and then also on my shop, which is www.opalsart.com.
You can also find Wild Cheese Studio and Opals Art at the Portland Farmers Market in Deering Oaks Park on Saturdays. As long as the sun is shining, the hours are 7 to 1, Saturdays through November. Hope to see you there. And thank you so much, Opal, for being with us today and sharing some of your process. And I really hope that we can do this again soon.
Thanks for having me. Love you.